What is going on, Wealth Hacker Nation and GFC fam? It's your boy Jeff back with another show. And in this show, we are talking about a few things, talking about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and also talking about one of my other favorite investments slash hobbies, kind of combining the two, just giving you a state of the union, what's going on in Wealth Hacker Nation world, you know, what I'm investing in, what I'm excited about, and a few different things. But for those that don't know, I'm not sure how you would not know this, but you know, Bitcoin hit an all-time high again. I don't know like when the last all-time high was, but I know it was around 61,000 or so. But October the 20th, Bitcoin hit an all-time high of 66,000, which, whew, awesome. It hit like 61, I believe, before, and then it took a major dive, and it's been, gosh, probably around like the 40 to 50 mark for quite some time. It's fun to see the price spike back up. And then, you know, I love like this headline, and then you see this headline from the Coinless CEO, you know, where he sees Bitcoin hitting 100,000 by the start of next year. Like, I don't know who Graham Jenkin is, if I'm being honest. I just love the headline. I mean, if Bitcoin wants to hit 100,000, sure, let's do it. Now, the price has dropped a little bit since then. So at the time of this recording, so I'm recording this on October the 28th, 2021. As you can see, the price is now below 60,000. This morning, we were at 60 or 61. So it's dropped off a little bit. So you're probably wondering, like, what is driving it? I mean, sometimes you can try to predict this stuff. Other times we're like, I have no idea. It's kind of like saying, oh, man, is it going to rain today? I mean, the weather guy's going to say, yeah, you've got a 60% chance of rain. It never really happens. Sometimes predicting this stuff, like, you feel like you're a weatherman, but you know, really the big reason, the big driver has been that they have officially released the Bitcoin futures ETF. Now, this is not to be confused with this is not a Bitcoin ETF, meaning that you are not holding Bitcoin, you are buying futures in Bitcoin. And that's not the exact same thing, but it is still something to be excited about. I mean, that's why you see a lot of articles, you know, about this. This has been in the making for quite some time. And I can't pull up the article because I don't subscribe to, I think, the Wall Street Journal, but I am on the M1 Finance newsletter, and I was able to read this a little bit. But for those that don't know who the Winklevoss twins, they first applied, check this out, for a Bitcoin ETF in 2013, and now here it is, 2021. It is finally here. I thought I was actually going to pull up the actual Bitcoin ETF. Let me show you. So here is the Bitcoin ETF, which is currently trading right now. So if you want to buy it, here it is. Let me increase that screen so you can see it. So as you can see right now, it is trading at $38.58. I don't know what the release point was. I'm guessing it was around 40, maybe it's like 42. So, I mean, it's trending down a little bit, but once again, you're not holding actual Bitcoin. So you're buying future contracts on Bitcoin. Either way, this is like a huge, huge milestone with cryptocurrency. Finally, for people that have been wanting to buy Bitcoin, but are scared. They don't understand it. They don't really know how it works. They don't want to open an account with like Coinbase or Blockfi. They don't even want to buy it on Robinhood. You know, this is a way where you can buy, assuming that your brokerage firm allows you to buy this ETF, which I wouldn't see why they wouldn't. I'm thinking like Edward Jones here. Maybe Edward Jones wouldn't. But if you call your brokerage firm or log into your online brokerage account, see if you can buy the symbol BITO if you are interested in purchasing this. But this is a way for, I'll just say, the average investor that has been considering Bitcoin, considering crypto. This now allows those to get in. And when this was announced, this is really what stemmed, you know, the growth of the price of Bitcoin. I mean, it has shot up, and you can kind of see like where it was trending. I mean, we were actually pull like a 1 month I mean, you can see back in September 28th, I mean, it was trading around 41,000. So that's a nice little increase. So that is kind of what's going on with Bitcoin. What have I been doing? I'm actually going to attempt to pull up the 3 different accounts where I'm holding cryptocurrency. So the first one is Robinhood. Hope you can see. Yeah, it looks like you can see it. All right. So with Robinhood, I have dividend paying stocks. I have some other stocks, and I'll just show you what I have right now. And this is not just with Bitcoin, but this is like you can't buy a lot of crypto with Robinhood. So with Bitcoin, you can see where I currently own 0.76 shares of a Bitcoin. And I was trying to show you. Okay. So yeah, I'll try if I can increase this. I don't know if I can. If I can, I want you to be able to see the bottom there. So, okay, you can see where, let me just give you some context here, right? So here's some context. So like any investor, we all think that we can time the market, and I'm no different. Sometimes I think that, oh, I know when I can get in, I know when I can get out, and there definitely have been times that has worked. And there also have been times that it hasn't. So for those that are new to the channel, new to the show, new to the podcast, when I initially got into Bitcoin, I got in when it was around, I'm going to say, I think a little bit when it was 3,000, again, 7,000, maybe again when it was 20. And that's when I got most of my Bitcoin, that's when it was trading at. So I did really good with those purchases. And then I got a little overzealous, overambitious, got really excited about Bitcoin. I ended up buying more when it was around 50,000. Now, if I would have bought that at 50 and gone up to 66, like that's good, right? But that's not when I got in. I got in at 50, and just to kind of show you on this chart to give you an idea. I think it was probably like around in here, we'll say. And then as you can see, boom, it dropped, and then it dropped, and then it dropped, and it dropped down to about 29, I remember. And the hope here was, okay, well, this wasn't the hope initially. The hope was like it was going up to 100, like that other article I showed you. But when it dropped, I thought, okay, I do have a chance now to lock in some capital losses so that in the event that I do want to sell any other like Dogecoin or Ethereum, I now have some losses that I can, offset to get some of those gains. And then I will get in at the bottom. And I'm going to stress that again. The bottom, as if like I know when the bottom is. Like you can look at a chart all day long and you know when the bottom is. But when you're in the middle of it, I promise you don't know when the bottom is. And going back, if you could pull up some headlines in July of this year when it was talking about Bitcoin, I mean, it made me, who was really bullish and confident, with the future look of crypto and Bitcoin, I started really second guessing myself. I remember the day I was logged into either Coinbase or Blockfi, and I thought now is the time to buy. And I ended up reading some headline, probably CNBC, the same thing we just looked at, and it got me scared. It got me scared, and I didn't buy then. I ended up getting in, but as you can see, like let's say if I would have bought here 29, so on July 20th, got down to 29, and then I mean you can see where it has gone up. All right, so I bought a lot when it was really low. Still have made a lot of money there, but then when I got a little overambitious, when it was 50, that's where I end up selling off, locking in some losses. Now I did get back in, but I did not get in at the bottom. So that's what I kind of wanted to set up here, so that you have some context of what you are looking at. So I think the main accounts that I did the trading in, so with Robinhood, so if we look at Bitcoin, I showed you how many I own, and then you can look at the history. So I bought in at, so this was April, bought in there, and so I got in April. That's when it was at 50,000. I'm not sure if you can see that. I can't really highlight this, unfortunately, on my phone here. But I bought in, that's when it was at 50. So I got in at 50 there, and then I ended up selling it in May when it was, looks like at 38. And gosh, if I would have got back in, that would have been awesome. I did get back in back on September the 24th, and that is the most recent transaction. So 32,000, got in when Bitcoin was 42. So 42,000 is when I got in most recently. So based off of that, I think Robinhood does show, so total return is 13,700, give or take. And that's with the most recent pullback. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is showing not the recent gain on like the most recent purchase. I think that actually is showing what is my total gain overall, including the initial buy and sell. I could be wrong there, but for some reason, I think that is the case. I think they show you what your total return is for that position. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Feel free to correct me. So I'm not really sure if that's a gain on just on the recent purchase, or that is all together, you know, from including the first purchase that was a loss. All right. So that is one purchase. And I think I did the same thing with Ethereum, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I bought in Ethereum, same thing, April. That's when Ethereum was 2,400. So that was 25,000. Then I ended up selling it in May. They're around the same time. Ethereum was 2,250. And then I got back in when Ethereum was at 3,000. And this is showing right now that the total return is 12,700, 36%. And once again, I think that's the same. So right now I've got, so as you can see, Ethereum right now is at 4,000. So that last purchase, even though I didn't time it good, you know, I got in it when it was 3,000. Right now it's at 4,000. So I'm doing okay there. And then the one that, gosh, no question, like this one hurts the most. And this one hurts is because this is why I was really excited to lock in some losses with, who's ever excited to lock in losses, right? But this is why I was excited. I bought Dogecoin in my Robinhood account. And for those that don't know, let me actually pull up a chart so you can see. Well, actually, I'll do it here on my phone, but it's not going to look as good. So with Dogecoin, you know, I got in when it was like 14 cents. That was fun. Like that was that was a lot of fun. But then you know, we had we had like the massive gain. So here, look at this chart. I got in, let's go 1 year. So right around, let's say here, somewhere in there. Actually, does it show when I bought my initial one? Yes, I think it does. So looks like I got in April of 2000, April 14th. All right. So in April, it was right around there. Okay. Like if you're looking at this chart, I mean, that's a good time. And then it shot up to here, where it ended up going up to like what, 70 cents, I believe, at one time. And I don't remember exactly like how much I was up. I recall that it was somewhere in, I was up like almost like 90 grand just off of Dogecoin. And that was a $90,000 profit off a $20,000 investment. Like yeah, like that's how much I was up. But it happened so fast. So that, you know, I bought it in April and that was in May. So we're talking like just a month later. So what I was having to deal with is a little thing called short-term capital gains. And for those that don't know how that works, you know, that you're not getting those long-term capital gains where you're paying a max of like 20%. I'd have to pay whatever my ordinary income tax rate is, which is somewhere in that 30-35% bracket. So it's like, ouch, like I don't want to pay 35% tax on 90 grand. Like that just, I mean, and what general rule of thumb is, you never want to gripe about paying taxes on a gain. You know, like, okay, I'm paying taxes on money that I made, you know, like just basically like fairy dust money. Like, woo, look at that, I made money. Either way, I'm like, gosh, I just don't want to do that. And I just want to see how is Doge going to continue to do? Well, look, going back to the chart, I mean, you can see, boom, we are here, then, drop back down, and it has been holding, it definitely has increased, since that initial bump of 14 cents whenever I bought it, or is it 14 cents? Yeah, 14 cents. Okay, so now you got some context. So I bought it when it was 14 cents here, 20,000. I ended up buying it again here in September. Same time I bought more Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I bought it at 20 cents, 0.207, so just about 21 cents a share. And once again, if you didn't know, I mean, this is what we're looking at now. Doge is trading at around, is it 30 cents now? Like, I'm kind of excited. Oh yeah, look at that, 31 cents. Check it. So that's fun. So overall with Doge, I am up, and this is just in my Robinhood account. So I'm up 34,000. That's fun to see. I'm up $17,000 today. That's fun. But yeah, so now I'm up 34,000 on a $40,000 investment, as opposed to being up 90,000 on 20,000. Once again, not complaining. This is I'll say buy and hold for the long term, at least for take advantage of the long-term capital gains. Okay, so that's all the crypto I have in my Robinhood account. The other crypto account that I have is with Blockfi. So I've talked about Blockfi probably a lot. I don't know, it's probably been a minute since I've talked about it here on the channel. But Blockfi, I've been a big fan. I initially started with Blockfi as a cryptocurrency savings account, putting money in and getting the stable coin. Like right now, they're paying 8.25%, which is insane on their stable coin. So that's huge. They also have their Blockfi credit card. I haven't applied for this yet. I've really considered it. Just right now, the way that we have our credit cards, like we have our business, we've got a sole prop, we've got personal, family, and we have a really good system with this right now. So like, that's the only reason why I haven't opened this card. I want to. I need to talk to the boss, the missus, in this House of Rose, to see if we might be able to interweave this. But I mean, we can't deny the points that we get from travel, which anyway, well, that's a whole other show, whole other topic. But let's go ahead and just pull up the Blockfi account. There hasn't been a lot of activity here. I think right now I don't have, actually, I mean, I'm really excited about, I was just talking about the stablecoin paying 8.25%. I currently don't have anything or hardly anything in any stablecoin. Right now the big holding, as you can see, I've got Bitcoin here, I've got Ethereum, and just some other smaller positions. And see, right now I have all my interest being paid in Ethereum. And I was trying to think if there's been any trades. Like I definitely had, oh yeah. So yeah, what did I do here? So this is, once again, I got really excited with purchasing the Bitcoin when it was at 50. Well, that would have been in May, I think. Yeah, that's when it was 50,000. Yay. Okay, there it is. So got excited there, end up selling it, locking in a loss here, and then getting back in when it was at 42. So basically I did the exact same thing here. And so the two accounts then that I locked in the losses would be with Robinhood and also with Blockfi. So I don't know what my total losses are, but the way I looked at it is I've got a good chunk now that if I do want to sell off Dogecoin or anything for that matter, I don't have to worry about those short-term capital gains. One thing too, I'll have a link in the description for, I did a video talking about the tax rules with crypto. I don't think this has changed yet, but right now crypto does not have any sort of wash sale rule. So that means that you have the ability, now I actually didn't do this, but let's say that you bought Bitcoin today at 59,000 and it were to drop to 55,000, you could sell and basically get back in and not worry about the wash sale rule, where you could still take advantage of that loss. If that is over your head, don't worry about it. But for those that are actively trading crypto, for those that understand trading stocks, and with the wash sale rule, like that is a really, really big deal. So anyway, so that is one of the things I love about crypto, locking in the losses.
What?
I'm not excited about locking in the losses. I hope you know where I'm coming with this. You never want to buy an investment to take a loss. I definitely got over ambitious, getting in with Bitcoin, at that time. And once again, no, but once you have a strategy and you feel good about it, it's like, okay, yeah, I shouldn't have bought it, but what can I do now? How can I maximize what I've done and use that going forward? All right. So that is what I did with both Robinhood and also Blockfi. And then the other account to show is with Coinbase. And I don't think that let me pull up the screen here. I don't think that I actually had any major trades. So right now the big holdings here, I do have some in cash, and there's a reason for that, which I'll share here in a minute. I've got Bitcoin, got 176,000 in Bitcoin there. Ethereum, I've got 56,000, have some Cardano. That's at 17,000. Looks like that has gone down a little bit. That one was like, oh, look at that. It's below $2 for the first time in a minute. That was a lot more fun when it was a lot higher. We'll look at that and a few other smaller positions. But with Bitcoin, I think the only major transactions that I did, I can show this, is there was what I'm trying to show is a recent sell. So there was a sell here not too long ago. That was what, October the 14th? Correct. So when Bitcoin hit, okay, it was at 57,000. All right. So here was the thought process here, just to kind of give you some idea what's going on in wealth hacker Jeff Rose brain here. All right. So I'm looking at Bitcoin. It has, it was at 60 some thousand, dropped down to 29. It's now back up to 57, 58. And I'm like, okay, like we're close to an all-time high. Did not know that it would go up to 66, whatever. I mean, you can typically never time the top. I mean, good luck if you think you can. That then brought me to, okay, so here is the logic that I was looking at. So, do I think that Bitcoin is going to 100? I mean, I'm sure it will one day, but as far as like with the short term goes, not thinking about the Bitcoin ETF, what would be a reasonable rate of return? And I'm like, okay, I mean, reasonable in the crypto space. So at 58,000, if let's say it had a 30% increase, that means Bitcoin would go up to 75,000. Do I think that Bitcoin can go to 75,000 in the short term? Or is there something else out there that I think could have a 30% increase? Possibly. And also what would be a lot more fun? I wouldn't say a lot more fun, but I think you'll see what I'm talking about here. But really, I started looking at, the answer was, do I think that Bitcoin is going to have a 30% increase in the next 90 days? And I can't confidently answer that question. So I started looking at other options. And I've talked about this before on the channel, and it's been a little while, but I started looking at sports cards. So are there any sport cards that I think could increase by more than 30% in the next 90 days as opposed to crypto? And that's where I was going with this, and having a lot of fun going with this. And one of the reasons why, well, let me just show you one of the reasons why I'm excited about this right now. So my oldest son and I, well, I guess I'll say my oldest son initially, he started a YouTube channel called it wasn't initially called Pop One Sports. It was Parker Sports Cards. I helped him with the name. So we rebranded to Pop One Sports Cards. And probably about a month ago, I was like, hey dude, like if you want, like, if you want to do this on your own, cool. If you want help, like I would love to do this with you, because I am totally into sports cards right now. And he was all for it. So we have been doing this channel, on the side for fun. And I've had a lot of fun doing it. And as we've done this together, just like with crypto, I have learned a lot. I think I've learned a lot about sports cards. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know anything more than I did. Maybe I just think that I know, and that's going to end up costing me a lot of money. But I was willing to test out, I wanted to test out a theory that I had. Do I leave the money in Bitcoin? Do I take some of the profit that I currently have? And then can I turn some of that profit into a bigger profit in a shorter time frame than I could with Bitcoin, just basically on a buy and hold strategy. So that's essentially like what I started doing. And one of the tools that I was using to help me with this, so this is it's an app, a service that I now subscribe to. It's called CardLadder. And there are a ton of different apps out there that will basically show you just like the price of cards, what they're selling for. I mean, it's basically just like any sort of Google Finance, Yahoo Finance, except instead of stocks or crypto or Bitcoin, we're looking at sports cards. So I started looking at certain players, and one of the ones I initially looked at was like trying to stick with the legends, like a LeBron James. So I started looking at LeBron James rookies, and like this is one of his rookies. If I can pull it up. So the one I was looking at was his tops, and you can kind of get a sense of the price. So you can see like how this card has done. So this is the gold. Let me go base, and I was looking at a PSA 9, and let's make this bigger. Okay. So let me get my mug out of the way so you can see this. So this is what I love. Like when you look at this, I mean, it looks like you're looking at a stock chart, right? So I'm looking at, this is where the price was of the card. So this 2003 Topps LeBron James PSA 9. So the highest you can go is 10. Those are a little bit more expensive. And there's a reason why I chose the 9s and the 8s. But just to give you an idea. So right now, it shows you that the last sold price was $949, and this is all sales off of eBay. And so, but we can look back and do some back testing, and you can see that in April, this card was selling for $1,700, $1,600. Let me make this a little bigger so you can see it. It was selling for $2,000 back in February, and the highest it ever sold was, what is that, is there a $3,000? $3,250 back in February. Now there was a lot of different things going on then. You had stimulus going on, you had a lot of different factors. So they're not saying that there's a 100% chance that it will get back to that value, but the thought was, okay, let's break out the calculator here, right? So if I'm buying this card for $900 and a 30% increase, we're looking at $1,170. Is there a chance that this card could have a 30% increase? And you have other considerations here. You've got seller fees, and depending on where you sell, and these are all factors I have considered. But that's what I started looking at, was trying to identify what were certain players that had reached a really good high that had the potential to get back there. And once again, not exactly back to 2,000 or 2,500, but if it could get to 1,100, 1,200, or 1,500, that would be a more profitable gain than Bitcoin, getting to 75,000 if that happens. Now, I didn't sell all my Bitcoin. Keep in mind, like I just sold 20,000 of my Bitcoin. This was totally an experiment. I mean, this is what I talk about Wealth Hacker, right? You got to be willing to test. So this was one card, one player. I picked up some LeBron. The other player I looked at was Kevin Durant, just as another one. And I'll just pull up one of the cards that I've looked at here, just so you can see, kind of like a similar deal. This is a lower card. So this one here, last one sold at 132, and this previous high, actually it showed you here, doesn't it? High price was 554, average price is 234. So I'm thinking here, if I could if you're buying this card for like $132, pull up my calculator here. So $132, 30% increase, we're looking at $171, where the average price is $234. So that's just some of the things that I was looking at as a possible way to get more of my money back quicker. So I don't have the B-roll footage here, but just to get, I can show you. Here is, this is like one of the accounts that I've been buying some of my cards in. So you can see I've got a LeBron James rookie here. I got Bowman, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant. James Harden was another one. I picked up a few of his. Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant. There's a Jordan. That was kind of for my own personal collection, but I also feel like I got a good deal. James Harden, LeBron James, LeBron James. There's another Jordan one there. So that is what I've been looking at. And this is, I mean, this satisfies two things, right? One, I love the idea of me testing something out. You know, a lot of the sports cards that I have invested into, it's been completely like a gut play. And if I'm being honest, like I bought a lot of Kobe back when he was right before his Hall of Fame, and I totally overpaid. You know, like it's going to take some time to get my money back there. When I look at this strategy, I feel like this is actually me doing some sort of like back testing, you know, me doing some research. And so I have more of a strategy here as opposed to like just using my gut and my excitement. And also I get to do this with my son. You know, we're enjoying doing this together. You know, we're trying to record like 1 or 2 videos a week. It's good quality time. We're really enjoying it. So that's why I'm having a lot of fun doing this as well. So man, if I can make money while I'm having fun doing a hobby as I am enjoying some quality time with my oldest son, I mean, check. But I'll be sure to report back on how all this works out. But also be sure to stay tuned because I have some more content coming, not just on sport cards, but also with crypto. There's some other strategies that I'm looking to implementing. I'm getting ready to implement. I've been going through some new training on a more advanced crypto trading strategy that I'm really excited about. But I want to make sure, I want to test that first before I share it here on the podcast and also on the channel. But the only way to know any of that is you got to subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you want more information on crypto, let me know in the comments. I love to know what you want to know, what you're interested in, and how you want to make money in the crypto space. All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out my son's YouTube channel. I'll have a link to that also in the description. As always, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.